Hello, guys. So this is a topic of blood typing. This is the last time actually that we're going to be messing with the little boxes, the little squares, the Punnett squares. So what you're going to be copying is going to be in the color red. Okay, so be ready to copy that down. Let's go. So blood typing, what you need to know by the end is I can predict the possible outcomes of blood typing crosses. So we're going to give you parents and they have different types of blood type and you're going to be able to cross them. Okay, now this is a little bit different than before. Okay, there's a little minor change. So what is blood typing? So blood typing is the test that determines a person's blood type. Not all blood types are compatible, so it's important to know which one is yours. So the first thing you need to know is that there are 4 different blood types, and that's important. There's A, there is B, there is AB, and then there's O. So with that being said, you can tell that there are one that's combined. A and B has both. Now, this is called codominance. Okay, so it says right here, blood types such as AB have codominance. So that means that instead of, like, for example, before we had like black and white, and one was dominant, one was recessive. Here it's a little bit different. You have 2 dominants, which is A and B. Both of them are dominant. And then you have 1 recessive, which is O. O is recessive. A and B are dominant. So what happens when you put 2 dominants together? Neither one is going to win. They both win. So that means that you get a new blood type, which is called AB. And this is going to make more sense in a bit. So you don't have to copy any of this, just listen up. Codominance is when both alleles and phenotypes are fully expressed at once. So what do I mean by that? So have you ever played a video game that is a co-op game? Co-op means 2 people, right? You can play with multiple people. So codominance is going to be it's 2 or more dominants. So in this case, 2 are dominant. Codominance, 2 dominant. So like I told you, you have the capital A is going to be dominant and then B is also going to be dominant. Now, let me give an example of how this works. So here you have a chicken that is white and a chicken that is black. So it says here, for example, a black chicken is crossed with a white chicken. So before they will tell you, oh, the black is dominant and then white is recessive or whatever. In this case, what if I told you that both of them are dominant? So black is dominant and white is dominant. So if you cross them, you get a checkered. So that means that it's black and white. So you see how both of them are showing, both of them are winning. That's what's going to happen here. Okay, because that means that both of the colors, both of the alleles, both of the phenotypes are going to be dominant. Okay, so that's what's going to happen with the blood. So codominance in blood types. So in blood, there are a total of 3 alleles. So there are only 3 letters, but we're going to combine them in different ways. So the 2 dominant alleles are A and B, and then the one that's recessive is O. Okay, so type A is dominant, type B is dominant, type O is recessive. That's going to be super important. Now, this table is going to help you a lot. If you ever get confused, you need to go back to this table. Okay, so the first blood type is type A. Okay, blood type A. Now, before I keep going, I forgot to mention, we're not going to talk about O negative, O positive, or whatever, right? No positive or negatives. We're going to talk about just the basics here. If you want to know about like that other stuff, you'll learn more in the future. Okay, so blood type A. There are 2 different ways. You can have homozygous type A or heterozygous type A. So what do I mean? When I say homozygous type A, that means you're going to have 2 letters A, 2 letter A. Now, you can also have heterozygous. So that means that you're going to have 1 dominant and 1 recessive. So like before you had like capital T, lowercase t. Well, now, remember, the capital is the first letter and then the recessive is going to be O always, because O is recessive. So that means that these are the options. AA or AO. And the O is recessive, so it doesn't really matter, right? Now, I suggest you wait, listen to what I'm saying first, and then copy all this down. So the second type is type B, and it's going to be very similar to what we did with A. So the ways to get type B is if you have 2 letter B's, homozygous B or heterozygous B, which is going to be BO. There you go. Homozygous B or heterozygous B. And then the last example, well, I'm sorry, the third example, not last, the third one is going to be type AB. So the only way to get type AB is if you combine literally an A and a B. So AB gives you type AB. And then the last one is type O. The only way to get type O, that one's recessive, you need to have two letter O's. If not, it won't work. Because again, if you put A and O, that's type A. If you put B and O, that's type B. The only way to get O is by having two O's. Now you may copy this down. And again, if you're struggling, go back to this little paragraph, this little things that you wrote. Okay, let's do some practice. We'll do quick. So a man with a blood type A, but he's heterozygous A. So that means that he has an A and an O. Marries a woman with a type B, but she's heterozygous for B, so it's BO. So you put them in the box, right? Just like I did here. Then you start crossing them. A and B gives you type AB. That's a type, right? And that's type AB. Type AB. So for the next one, you're going to be crossing type A and O. So A and O gives you A. Type A, heterozygous. Then on this one over here, you're going to be crossing type B and O, which gives you BO, which is called type B, heterozygous. And then at the end, O and O, it's going to give you OO, and that's type O. Okay, we're going to do some more practice. I know I went a little fast. We're going to go a bit slower. Next, again, copy this down now, please. Next. So, if Mr. Gutierrez has blood type O and his wife has blood type AB, what would be the possible blood type of their future kids? So, the first step, make a key. So, what do I mean by that? Find out what the parents look like in the sense of blood type. So, it tells you that Mr. Gutierrez is type O. So, that means that the only combination I could have if I'm type O is OO. Now, my wife is going to have type AB. The only way to get AB is to have an A and a B. That one's easy. Copy this down. Let's move on to the next. Okay. Now this, I'm just going to copy that from the next page. So you're going to put OO and AB. OO, AB. Okay. Now you're going to put those parents, which we already got, on the boxes on the outside. So you put the first parent on the top, the second parent on the side, and then you start crossing them. So A and O gives you AO. Then for the next one, you're going to cross A and O again. It gives you AO again. So then you can have B and O, it gives you BO. And then B and O again, gives you BO. Boom. Okay. Now, so far, everything's the same, right? So let's talk about how many of each do we have. So the ratio. How many do we have that are type A? If you check in here. Now remember, O is recessive. So that means that this AO, that equals A. AO equals A. BO equals B. And then BO equals B. So the answer is 2 A's and 2 B's. Right? And what I mean is like 2 blood type A and then 2 blood type B. Now, what about the percentage? How many are going to be type A? The answer is 50, half of them. 50% blood type A and then 50% blood type B. Easy. Pause this, copy this down. Let's move on to the next one. So, how to determine the offering of a blood type, right? Punnett score number 2. This is practice number 2. It says, if a friend of yours has blood type AO and her husband has blood type BB, what will be the possible blood type of their future kids? So, same thing. Your friend has what? It tells you right there. AO. That means A, heterozygous. Her blood type is A, but she's heterozygous. And then the husband is type B, homozygous. So, capital BB. Boom. Copy this down. Let's move on. So, you copy that down here again. So, she is AO and he is BB. What will be the possible blood type of the future kids? So, you put this on the box. That's her. This is him. You start crossing it. Now, be careful. A and B gives you AB. O and B or B and O gives you BO. Oops, sorry, down here. A and B gives you AB again. Sorry, I didn't know it was going to go down. Then over here, B and O gives you BO, and then B and O gives you BO again. Now, I made this a little bit tricky. The question is, how many are type A? Okay. If you answer 2, you are incorrect. You are wrong. The answer is 0. There are 0 A's in here. And now you're probably looking at these and be like, well, what about those? That is type AB because they're both dominant. So I know what you're trying to do. You might be trying to ignore the letter B and be like, oh, that one's recessive. No, it's not. It's dominant. So that is type AB. And so is this one at the bottom. So there's 2 ABs and then 2 BOs. So the answer here is two ABs and then 2 Bs, right? What I mean is blood types. So how many are type A in this example? 0. 0% type A because these ones are not. And then 50% AB, 50% type B. And then we're done. Go ahead and pause the video and finish copying this. Thanks.